Well, a good afternoon on this beautiful Thursday. It's kind of cloudy, but still beautiful. This is Toni Weel, and we have a co-host with us, Sara from Virtuous Unicorns. And it's another Thursday, and we welcome you all. And we have some interesting topics that is circling the news, and interesting topics to talk about. So, let's go into it right away. The topic is the very sad passing of a young woman, Zana, who supposedly died from, what is it, being underfed? Can you call it that? Starvation and exhaustion. And I even heard she died from a bacteria that her body couldn't handle. And that reminds us of Hilda Larsen, who died last year. And of course, everybody is talking about it, and it's kind of scary when you hear that. Like, what was she doing? How honest and open and transparent was she about exactly what she was doing? And we don't know. Nobody of us know, not even the people who followed her and watched her daily videos. I watched a few, to know what it was about. And yes, you can see that in later videos, she started to look very skinny. And then we come back to it's all about balance. We still don't know, did she really heal her body? Was she not eating enough? Did she eat any greens? Did she get any minerals from the greens? We don't know. So what is your take on it, Sara?
I haven't been on social media for a while. As some of you know, I've kind of just been, come back from vacation weeks ago, and I've been struggling to get on anyway. But of course, somebody did send that to me today in text message. And so I opened it up and did kind of read through it some, but we have no idea like what she might have been fighting prior to this. As I pull it up right now and I'm reading, it says that she's only been on this lifestyle for 4 years. So we don't know any kind of underlying ailments, and I can't really speak much to it, but I could see where it might spark some fear in some people just because a lot of people are new to this kind of lifestyle. But it does say in here raw vegan, and we never promote, veganism really. We more promote fruitarian lifestyle. So I don't know, was she eating raw processed vegan foods? Was she, I just don't know enough at this point. But what I can say is that, she's one person and Hilda's another person, but how many other people die daily from cancers, heart problems, and other problems that we see from the standard American or standard worldwide diet at this point. And a lot of them don't just pass just from eating that standard American diet. There's things that just lead to that, which of course that's the bottom line of it, but still, it's just very hard to speak to it at this point without knowing all the details of everything.
Yeah, it's when I read about all everything in the news, they are talking about an extreme fat diet, and it's like it doesn't have to be extreme. It has to be balanced. And yes, but it is mentioned she was a raw vegan, so that leaves out the processed foods.
Well, there are raw, like they'll do those raw processed foods too, like those raw nut balls, those raw, like how much protein was she getting? She could have been eating raw and it could have been loaded up with nuts and avocado and, things like that. And where she could have had underlying issues that this was just feeding into, or she could have had kidney issues. And then Ingrid did just post in the chat. It even said on there too that she wasn't drinking water. And on top of that, I did read the article this morning that she would even go into extensive dry fasts. So if you've got kidney problems, you're not taking in water. And again, I have no idea, was she eating high like nuts and seeds and avocado? All that's considered raw still and vegan.
Yeah, it is said here for the last 4 years, consuming just fruit, sunflower seeds, sprouts, fruit, smoothies, and juices. But it also says that on the tour, she was on a tour in Southeast Asia where she died. A close friend quoted, said that she had swollen legs oozing lymph. Well, that means her kidneys weren't working, and she was not filtering, and she was not getting rid of all the lymph in her body. So
I mean,
it is,
regardless, it's just sad all over, no matter
it
if
is.
someone passes from a standard American diet to a vegan or whatever. I mean, it's very sad. And it would have been wonderful if she would have reached out to one of the practitioners that could have helped guide along the way. And that's the other thing. If you ever have question, I mean, I know people ask question in our chats, but you know, Toni is a detox therapist that can help guide you along the way. And there are others that can be found on GrapeGate or reaching out directly to Dr. Morse's office. You know, just asking questions in these chats and stuff is not always beneficial to everybody. Yes, we can help guide, but there's a lot of stuff and underlying issues that can and still need to be addressed, which can be very serious. You know, we can't really pick up a lot of information just from your question or a text message or even your voice. I mean, sometimes we can do it the moment we look at you or even touch you, we can see things, but you definitely need a guide along the way, and always reach out to Toni or look for another practitioner on grapegate.com and go with some guidance. I mean, this is your life. This is your health, and it should be taken seriously because we're bombarded by all kinds of stuff every single day.
Yeah, and there are a lot of influences, and people seem to keep going to whatever influencer is out there, and still not getting the correct information. And you can have a complete raw vegan diet. And I would think, you know, raw vegan, I've seen other people, they have been on it for what, 30 years, 40 years. Last week I came across that lady again. She is, at that time she was 67, she's in her 80s now. She looks like she's barely 40. And she has been on more than half of her life a raw vegan. So, you know, there are always underlying things. But when somebody goes to eating only raw jackfruit, is what I had been reading, then, you know, you can expect that you get some issues. So it's always, we have this mucusless foods list. And it shows you all the things that are good for you to eat and to give you a really balanced diet. And Dr. Morse did, you know, like 6 months on a grape, no, it wasn't orange juice only. You know, John did many months on mangoes, but that is not for the rest of your life. Although when you have a healthy body, your body know what it can get out of that food to function properly. But you would think, you know, when I talk about balanced, I'm not talking about, you know, only do juices. Somebody was really surprised when I said Dr. Morse is not a fan of juices only. And well, you know, we think that when we do juices only, it's good enough. And then when you start eating again, you get issues, and then it is to blame on the fruits, and that is not the case. So that is why, and Dr. Morse is very clear about that. You detox, you regenerate. You can detox again, you regenerate again. So find that balance.
Yep.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say a lot of us turn to fruit juice too, because it's a great way to get us hydrated when we've been dehydrated for so long. Even if you're a wonderful water drinker, you still need some of the fruit juice, especially in the beginning of the detox, to really get in there and help loosen all the stuff off the cell walls and your intestinal tracts and stuff like that. So juice is great when you're going through the detox, but it's not something you should sustain your lifestyle on. We do have to go back to eating the fruit. You have to eat the oranges, eat the grapes, things like that, because you're getting the fibers and the juices from all of them.
And it's actually that variety. I mean, I love my orange juices, and I don't filter anything out of it.
Me
And
neither.
no, you just get the orange juice. I love my, what is it, the 32 ounce, yeah, it's 1 liter
Mhm.
orange juice, but I also love a 32 ounce smoothie
Yeah.
that has a little mix of foods. And in between, I eat cherries, I eat grapes, I eat bananas. And one thing that I do need to do is add more greens. I've said that before, and I was
I,
going to do it, but
I
it's
do.
it somehow it's like I like the fruit better.
Yes, I am a sweet, but butter lettuce is so good. I can just eat that by the handfuls. And
Yeah,
the other
yeah,
thing I sat and ate, I ate a whole bowl. Somebody had brought my mom cherry tomatoes. They were orange and red and brought them from their garden. I popped one in and I was like, oh my God, this is what I remember pizza tasting like. Like this was like I was eating like an explosion of pizza in my mouth. And so I ate a bunch of them.
and that was tomatoes.
They were tomatoes. They were the best cherry
Oh my
tomatoes I've ever
God,
had in my life.
I
And
haven't had a good one for such a long time.
they were so good. And and I swear it was like that's what I remembered pizza tasting like.
Yeah,
And so to me, it was like I was eating pizza there, sitting there eating just the cherry tomatoes. And so I just mono ate a whole bunch of cherry tomatoes for my lunch.
yeah,
And they were so good.
yeah.
So good. These people have had a garden for decades. So, and they don't spray, they don't do nothing. We actually have a lot of people around us that have little home gardens and they do nothing to them. They just plant and go. They'll hand weed stuff here and there, but they just basically grow tomatoes, corn, onions, garlic, that kind of stuff. But their tomatoes are so good.
Yeah, it would be nice to have more. My fruit season is over. There was one mango that I actually missed, and it was on the ground, half eaten, so I just leave it there.
Somebody's
It,
like, I beat you to it.
yeah, it's for whatever critter wants to eat it.
Yep.
It goes back to earth, including the seed. We shall see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We our place where we do get our oranges there, they said the navel season is done. So now we've
Yeah,
moved on to I think they're the Valencias, but I'm not
yeah.
I don't know.
We
They're
have the Valencias here. They're actually pretty good. They're very
yes,
juicy.
they are.
Yeah, they are very good.
I think we're using 8 oranges to get 32 ounces, whereas with the navels we were using 10.
Oh, I use 12.
Yeah. The other thing too is when I do juice, we'll get the juice out, and then I still eat the inside of the orange.
Yep.
I mean, I almost can't help myself.
Yeah, you're absolutely weird, but I do it too.
So weird.
I'm not that
Were
weird.
like, people were like, oh, I just love being around you. And I'm like, you don't know how weird I am. I'm kind of boring and weird. And I work all the time. Somebody sent a meme. It said, I just want to wake up with you every day for the rest of my life. And then on the next page, it said, I wake up at 5 a.m. And they're like, never mind. Yeah. And I don't go to bed till late.
Yeah, yeah. Hey,
Yeah, but that
Tom.
story is so go
Oh my
ahead.
God, I forgot something. I just have to do something. You keep talking.
Nope. I was just gonna just go on and say that that story is so sad and our hearts go out to her family. And I really hope that this doesn't shake anyone else's thought process on this whole journey. So many people are seeing so many benefits from it. And the one, I mean, I don't want to call it a side effect, but when you start feeling so good inside from this, it's almost like either you want to share your whole entire journey of it, or all of a sudden you're caught up in life and you're just gone. And you're so full of energy that you just find yourself doing so many things. So then people do start falling off social media. People do start doing things like that. So you're either documenting your life for others to see, which that's what we love to see. And we love to hear people's journey, or you're out living life. I mean, Katie is a great example of this. Katie's been skydiving. Um, she's been traveling all over the place. She's just been out just really enjoying life. I think she even correct me if I'm wrong, Toni, wasn't she on a mountain somewhere for like a few days and had no service for anything?
Yep. Yeah.
And just loving life. And yes, we want to talk to everybody all the time, but we understand. I mean, you come alive after all these years, and it's so much energy that you are just out and enjoying nature, enjoying life, and doing the best you can to spread that energy that you have. This. Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah.
You were saying someone was joining us.
Yeah, but that is so important. And sometimes we get to a point, it's like, you get kind of stuck in life.
Mhm.
And you start forgetting about all the beautiful things that you like to do, wanted to do. And skydiving was always on my list. I scratched it. I do not want to do it anymore.
I do not either.
I have already messed up knees, and I'm like, no, I'm not going to challenge that.
My
That's
husband has
on the
been,
bucket list.
my husband does it with the military, but no. Nope. I mean, when the military skydives, though, it's a much faster to the ground process than it is if you do it for recreation use or use recreationally. I
Yeah.
do not. I guess when I was like very young, I was like, yeah, we could skydive. Now I'm like, no way.
Yeah, well, there are other things. I was always a big fan of roller coasters, and after that heart attack, I'm like, no, let's not do it anymore.
Yep.
You probably could, but you have that fear in you, and that doesn't easily go away.
No, I bet it doesn't.
So sometimes there are in my life, I had to overcome a lot of fears. Had to
Mhm.
face them, I was kind of, yeah, what is it? And not really an outgoing person, I like to be the observer. But then I decided in 1981, it was like, okay, I go to the United States, I'm going to purchase a Harley Davidson, and I'm going to travel there for 3 months, not knowing anything about the country. And I just did it, not even thinking about all the things that could happen. It was like, I'm okay, I'm going to be okay. And I was okay. And I had so much help from people all over the place. It was so amazing. So yeah, I absolutely fell in love with the country and the people. And after that, I just came back every year until I made it my business with a motorcycle touring company. But
Wow.
it was an amazing time, and meeting the people and learning about their lives. And I was invited, and now things would be different, because what actually would you do? You are invited by strangers, of course. I mean, you can if they're good people or not, or the circumstances that you meet them, but you accept their invitation. And now you sit at the table and they have pork and eggs and sausages and pizza.
Yep.
What do you do?
Well, you be there and you be that example and show them as what you're there.
Yeah.
And even if people are eating stuff like that, the hardest that is for me to sit with someone while they eat is when they're eating lobster, crab, or something like that. To me, that's always, even back when I did eat still chicken and hamburgers and stuff, watching someone eat that's always been very barbaric for me. And so even to this, I mean, obviously now it's even harder, but you this is not an easy lifestyle. I mean, like, we're out there on the front lines and we're showing people stuff like that, but sometimes you do still have to be there and to show that example, to spark somebody in something else, or spark something in somebody else, so that way they can maybe think, or maybe like, wait a minute, why is she not eating that? Well, she can still come out and have all this fun and have all this energy with us, and you know do all of this stuff, and she only ate that, or something like that. Or look how much energy she has, and now we all feel like we can't even walk out of this restaurant. I mean, just those kinds of things, that sometimes we still have to be on that front line. We still have to face all those things, just so that way we can still shine that light and be that leader and lead by example.
Yeah, it's I don't know what I would do. It's I have an example. I have friends in the Netherlands, and good friends. They were at my the handfasting ceremony that we had 10 years ago. He had a heart attack a few years ago, and on his Facebook, he showed all the pills that he is taking, all the pills, so many, so many. And he is off and on, actually, he's constantly evolves back and forth in the hospital. And he could, be gone every minute. Now, I told him before, it's like, I would like to share something with you. How can you, improve your health? I was very careful how I brought it out right after his heart attack. No answer. So now he showed all the pills on his Facebook, and I told him I had 2 heart attacks 10 years ago, 7 years ago. Didn't take any medication. Of course, in the hospital, you have no choice. Out of the hospital, I did not. I told him I was taking Dr. Strauss heart drops, which is hawthorn, cayenne, and hawthorn, cayenne, garlic. Very concentrated. It's a tincture. It's absolutely, totally disgusting. But I put it in water, and right at the first time, right out of the hospital, that is what I took for probably 6 months. And then you start forgetting because you feel good. You don't think about it anymore. So 2.5 years after that, I had another heart attack. I stayed home. And I put that same tincture under my tongue, a big, I think 2 dropperfuls, kept it under my tongue, and then did that every 10 minutes for an hour. And I start feeling better again. Very tired for about a week. And then I was okay. Well, after I got out of the hospital, I was tired and brain fog for about a year. It was like, something changed in my brain. But what I was telling him is like, this is what helped me. I'm not going to tell him you have to do that and stop all your medication, because we would get into big trouble. But he was like, oh, and do you have only half a heart muscle yeah. Only half of your heart muscle works. Yeah, that is what I've been told. No response. And that kind of saddens me that people are not want to learn more. It's like, okay, tell me more. What did you do? How did you feel? What are you eating? Because I told him it wasn't about the heart drops. It was, I changed my diet drastically. No response. And sometimes you just don't get through. They are not on that level. They are on their own journey, like my sister and my mother. They both passed away in the last few years. And I absolutely believe in the ripple effect. I mean, we've seen it with many people. Like Katie is a great example, because her enthusiasm is rubs off on everyone. But it is sometimes, and I have friends here, and for years they know exactly what I've been doing, but it is slowly a little thinking more about what they put in their body. But I think with things that are going on in the world, and how people are after the COVID stuff and the facts, and what all happened, in how they feel. There are certain words I better not use here, because then the video is going to be deleted. There's so much work for us to do. But now we have this lady, and you know what? She was 39. She looked like she was in her early 20s. She really looked amazing for a while. But yeah, the only thing that we said already, we don't really know, but we can think about some things taking too deep, too far. And I'm not a fan. You said you haven't done it, to dry fasting. I only did the dry fasting once after I had a food poisoning from a salad, actually. And I just couldn't eat. So I was like, well, we know the best healing is always stop everything, which I did.
Yeah.
And then after, it was only 24 hours. And then they do, I think, 3 days water, and then a week fruit juices. And, and of course I was fine after a day or so again. But that would be the longest that I would ever do that, the dry fasting. And I don't know what people, want it so bad. And it's the same with the water fasting. I've heard people now, we know about, I forgot what his name was, Douglas in Costa Rica, who has a retreater and does water fasting only.
I'm not sure of that one.
Well, he is very well known. Maybe someone in the chat knows it, but the people go there and they start water fasting, but it's often they didn't prepare. And if you go there for 2 weeks, I have to admit, I don't know how long his retreats or his detox weeks are. But I do feel that the body absolutely needs to adjust to what you do. And every time you go from, from one thing to the other without preparation, you get issues. And then the issues are, of course, blamed on the changes that you made. And although they are related, but don't do it that fast, ease into the changes that you make.
And your body is not, I mean, it took so long for your body to get that way. You just have to be patient. And of course, speaking, if you're under direct supervision of Dr. Morse, any of his practitioners, or Toni, follow their guidance. But for those that are just listening, trying to target by doing a fast when your body's not prepared for a fast, like Toni said, you could see other things. We've talked about this before. You go from your standard American diet down to, say, you become vegetarian, then vegan, then fruits, then your juices, then your water, then maybe like a day dry fast or something, then come back to your water, your fruits, and, kind of come out of it very slowly as well, too. I mean, that's a way of preparing your body. But a lot of people, I mean, even Justin, he was on fruit for, a long time. And then he went into starting to dab in, or, into the fasting world. He didn't just go from, oh, you know what, I'm going to target this with a fast. I mean, he prepared his body for that over a long period of time. And so too many people, I feel, jump into fasting too quickly. And I think some people look at it, fasting's kind of like a fad too. It's like the new thing. And so a lot of people are just jumping into fasting, where you need to be further educated on it.
Yeah, and it isn't juice. You don't fast with the juice. You fast with water. Fasting is to eliminate the foods, and you can call it taking a solid food vacation or a juice feast, but or maybe even a detox, which is a fad nowadays too. And but yeah, that is where people go from a bad diet into a 7 or 30-day or however long detox without knowing or understanding anything about the body. And if it doesn't work out, then it is either I am to blame or Dr. Morse is to blame, the fruit is to blame. But it's and I hear this a lot, people that got so much worse during a fast. But it's like Dr. Morse always said, the fruit brings out the weaknesses in your body. Well, fast will do that too.
Oh, yeah.
So it is, yeah. I took my time. I became a raw vegan. I still had the nuts and seeds and avocado and fats in it. And then so that was a good base actually from getting away from the meat, dairy, eggs, fermented food, cooked food, and that went very well into. I was feeling amazing, especially the first few weeks. There's a question: is it safe to drink Dr. Morse Heal All tea during pregnancy, and is it safe to use the GI broom during pregnancy? I think so with the Heal All tea. If you go to Dr. Morse's website and you click on the Heal All tea, he will have information if you can use it during pregnancy or not. If there is no indication that you should not, then it is safe to use. With the GI broom, I don't know. I think you have to look at the same information on his site. But I am careful with the GI broom, even if one is not pregnant, because if you're not well hydrated and you do not have at least 2 and preferable 3 bowel movements in a day, easy bowel movements, and you would have constipation, then do not use the GI broom. if you do have constipation, or you have maybe only one bowel movement or one every other day, then start with the GI Renew that is appropriate for your situation, your symptoms. They come in, they were always numbered from 0 to 5. They have changed the names now. So that is a good thing to know, that all the names of the formulas have been changed, but they're still easy to recognize. And the GI Broom has a bulker in it. And that means that if you're not well hydrated, or say that you wouldn't drink enough when you use it and you already have constipation, it will stay in your colon. It will not go anywhere. So you have to make sure that that is already working well. So I would use, if you want to go to the GI Broom, first go to the GI Renew. If you have your 2 bowel movements, I still think you should use the GI Renew, but then it would be the number 1. And that one is called now Daily, so that you can use. Also, on Dr. Morse's website, he has the information on what you can use with pregnancy and what not. And I do remember I have it in a single file somewhere, so I would have to find it and I can send it to you. But it is directly on Dr. Morse's website.
And you go to Raw Pigs too and type in detox during pregnancy, stuff like that. And videos will come up for you to listen to and hear it directly from him.
Yeah, but it is good to have that overview.
Yes, it is.
You know, the overview with the list, as in which herbs you should not use, because you have to be really aware of whatever you take. I was looking at a tea that I had all these herbal teas here, and I was looking at one, and it was called the Detox tea, and I was like, okay, what is in there? It's been sitting there for quite some time. And then on all the list, yeah, it's all good. Yeah, I can use that. And then there was licorice. Now I can absolutely not use licorice. But how many people would know that? If your blood pressure tends to go up pretty easily, like mine did, then it gives me heart issues. It gives me, and actually ended up in the hospital after I had taken something like that. It wasn't a tea, it was actually a multivitamin. This is way back. We're talking about probably 15 years ago. And I was taking all these supplements, but that is one that you can absolutely not use when you have higher blood pressure. And with higher, mine was maybe like 135 over 75, so it was still considered normal, but it went up over 200. It was crazy.
Wow.
And at that point, I thought I had a heart attack. But my husband, who has a low blood pressure, for him, it's absolutely amazing.
Oh, that is neat.
And it helps with the adrenals too. So if you have a normal or say a low blood pressure, then yes, you can use it.
Yep.
Lots of things to know.
Yep.
Little things.
Yep, she says, thank you. All it says is the Heal Tea says consult with your doctor if you are pregnant.
Okay. But that is on every isn't that on everyone? I have to see it now myself.
And also, if you have questions, I mean, you can definitely fill out the health questionnaire, and which is always linked in the show notes. And you can make an appointment to speak with Toni too, if you wanted to get further into it, as to maybe why you're using the Heal Tea or why you're thinking you want to start the GI Broom, that kind of stuff. And maybe she can guide you either down that route or on a different route if she thinks you may need something else.
Yeah, I wonder what is in there that maybe, I don't know. I am there now, Thierry, and where did you see that? Because I'm at the website now. And I don't see it. But let me go to their, I want to find that form so I can send, that article. Let's see. Well, he has a list with the pregnancy and postpartum herbal supplements. And the Heal All Tea is not in there. But this is just, to help you through all the things that you can use, the adrenal supports, the endocrine daily, bone and connective tissue. What else is there? The superfood explosion. It didn't give me the article, and I do want to have the articles. Here it is. Yeah, the whole website has been changed.
Yeah.
I don't see it. Anyway, I'll can let me see, because I want to get it to you now. Learn. I saw that Tom was here. Tom, do you want to come on and give your 2 cents, a dime, 20 cents on what is going on with people who are, I think we have to talk more about that, about what causes people being so thin, other than the ones that we have been talking about. It is also, if your GI tract is not working well, and you're still blocked, despite all the things that you have been doing, but it needs just a little bit more help. Then in your pancreas, your parathyroid may not work good. These are all things that are important to get to your health.
Mm-hmm.
So if we don't absorb the nutrition, the nutrients, then we keep losing weight. And what I see now, there are more people concerned about the losing weight than the gaining weight. Because losing weight for a lot of people really is a problem. Like, I don't have any weight to lose, and now what? And I'm still losing weight.
Yep.
And then it is time to make sure that you clean out your gut. It's that simple. A theory, I'm sorry, I am in that part now where it has all these PDFs, and I don't see the one about pregnancy. That is odd. They haven't added that. So I have to find it on my phone. You can email me, and I can send it to you. And I will see if I have another way of finding that, because I'm sure I uploaded it to my website. And see if I can get it there for you. Okay. So anyway, what is Tom? Tom, would you like to join us?
Mm-hmm.
I know I asked it and he didn't respond.
Well, we do have another question too from Susan. She purchased all the Dr. Morse teas, including his kidney tea. Will the kidney tea help with filtering? How many cups a day should I have?
Good question. I would say up to 3. I think that is mostly on with these teas. Isn't that on the package?
Mm-hmm. Yep. And I know too that you've talked about with filtering the parsley.
Yeah. If you want to get your kidneys open up a little faster or easier, you'd use a bunch, maybe 2 bunches of parsley, can be Italian or curly. And juice that. Nothing, don't add any water or any other things to make it tastier. Not gonna happen anyway.
Oh.
But yeah, and just you can always drink a little bit of water afterwards. But I would say about 4 to 6 ounces, maybe a little more. And do that for a week, not longer, because it's really strong.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the same with people who are taking what is it? The celery juice. It's really strong too. And if you want to use a little of that, then don't do it longer than a week. Don't do more than like 6 ounces. It seems okay if you do more, but I know what the problems were, what it did to me. And I got, it's weird to say, explosive diarrhea.
Mhm.
And I've heard that from many people, and that is wrecking your body.
And I
So,
mean, you will feel good at first because your body is just that dehydrated. So any kind of juice that you're going to be taking in, you're going to start feeling good and you're going to want to keep doing it. But celery is considered an herb and it should be treated as one.
yeah, so no 16 to more ounces of that stuff for a year and a half. How stupid was I? I
Well,
did it. I did it.
we were all there. And I feel bad I got other people on that too. So
Yeah, it's like something.
yeah.
But anyway, it's yeah, there are a lot of things that you can do, and but I think we need to come back on that balancing act that we need to do. It's like, see, I cannot eat nuts because I'm getting in trouble. That means my body is still too acidic and still on its healing journey. And I didn't expect anything else, you know. I was like, oh, this is going to take at least 7 years. Even if you are very consistent. And I'm not the most consistent person with this. I do my best, and like we all do, and the best that we can. And sometimes it's like, you know, yesterday I ate at a vegan restaurant, and I had sweet potato fries.
Hmm.
They are so delicious there.
Yeah, they are.
They are amazing. And never go to oh, what is the name? Ruby Tuesday.
No.
Did I tell that story about what I I had ordered there?
Mm-mm.
I had ordered sweet potato fries, and when they came, they were a little black. So I said, that is not edible. You know, there's nothing inside even. You can they, you could break them. You know, they were that hard, and there was no potato left inside.
Huh.
So, do you want to talk to the manager? Yes, please. And the manager came. She said, oh, they're fine. I said, maybe for you, but I find them not edible. Do you want another portion? Yes, please. I got another one. They were not as black, but there was still nothing inside that was even remotely soft. And I said, well, this is not really that much better. And she got angry at me. And she said, I stood there and they were in the oil exactly how long I told them they have to be in there. And I was like, well, seems to me that the oil was too hot.
Yep.
And so no more.
Yep.
No
Man,
more.
anything you just got to make them yourself. And I know a lot of people
Yeah,
will use air fryers, but
I do that too. Yeah.
air fryers are not they're not healthy.
I
And
know, you know,
yeah,
the oil is not healthy. Even at the vegan restaurant, it's not healthy, but
yeah.
it's not even nearby, so it's actually a good thing. But
But
we drove almost past it, and it was like, yeah, let's go there.
yep.
And no, of course, it wasn't the best choice to make, but I definitely enjoyed it.
Exactly. I mean, it's a sweet potato. I mean, come on. And it's
Yeah.
somewhat, you know what you're doing. It's not, that. And I didn't mean like I'm telling you that they're unhealthy. It's a lot of people think that because I'm using an air fryer, it's more healthy. Well, there's all kinds of stuff coming out about those air fryers. And while we're on the topic of stuff that's coming out, I'm not going to mention the name brand, but I think everybody can piece it together. A very, very popular yoga pant that cost a whole bunch of money. I've been seeing all kinds of information coming out about forever chemicals that are in the crotch region of the women's pants.
Oh
And
my
you're
God.
getting forever chemicals in your feminine area.
Oh my gosh.
And a lot of women don't even wear underwear with them. So that's definitely something to look into. They said that it's not in all of their clothing, but I can imagine it's probably maybe in the sweat wicking or those other kinds of stuff where they're having to put chemicals in there. But and then other people are like, wow, now we can't even wear clothes. Well, no, we can't. I mean, like I said, I'm not the most fun person to be around or stuff like that. And once you know better and you're doing better, it is hard to know better too, because now you know all this stuff. And it's like, well, how do we have fun in life? And it's like, okay, we're on different levels here, but I'm just telling you, be careful with, again, following a fad. Everybody's doing it. These pair of leggings are everywhere, and all the cool moms are wearing them, basically. Well, there's something wrong with those leggings, and you really need to look into it and use with caution, I guess you could say.
Well, if it is with those pants, then how would it be with all the other pants?
Exactly.
My
Exactly. And I'm not saying we should all run around naked, but linen's great. Hemp is great. But again, once you use all that stuff and you say you buy all these linen or even organics clothes, what are you going to wash them in now? Then people go home and they wash them in name brand laundry detergents. Well, now that's no longer organic, now is it? Stuff like that. So
that is well, we talked about that before. We have those what do you call those
oh gosh, soap nuts and my shampoo plant, oh my gosh, it's probably maybe a foot tall now, and it's really shooting up. Have you tried yours yet?
No, I forgot about it.
Oh, Toni, it's right out in your yard. Just go get it.
I know.
Crawl out there.
Yeah, I know.
I am so anxious about this. I even told my husband, like, let's just take a trip down to Florida and let's find one. I'll be on the news in trouble for digging up somebody's plant to bring it home.
Okay, guys, I posted the pregnancy and herbal formulas, what to take and what to avoid. And they were what you do not take. Actually, do not use while breastfeeding. Moderate use during pregnancy is okay, and that is the Heal All tea. And the Parasite G, you do not use while pregnant or breastfeeding. In early pregnancy, use cautions with lymphatic system. But yeah, we shouldn't use that anyway when you just start out. There is more information in there, even lactation herbs, but you're not at that point yet. So the GI broom is not mentioned there, but for me, it's like be well hydrated. And when you use it with a big glass of water, lots of water, minimum of 16 ounces of water. And take it 2 hours away from any food or herbs. So did the link work for you guys? Did you try it?
I'm trying it right now.
Okay.
Verifying that I'm not a robot.
Yeah, Suzanne, if the kidney tea helps with filtering, yes, because if you do not take the kidney formulas, the 1, 2, 3, or 4, or all of them, you can use the kidney tea. It is, it's a lot of things that will help your kidneys filtering. It's so that means that because you asked these questions, that your kidneys are not filtering yet. And there's another thing that it may not filter in the morning, and then you see some sediment when you do it in the afternoon. I know of people who only pee in a bottle, and I was like, I may do it once every few months when I think of it, but I just go with, I do the best that I can. And yeah, if my kidneys, I know I have kidney issues for my whole life. It's like they either work or they don't. I'm still here. So it's and I just keep going. And with what you know now, there's no way that you can ever go back to your standard, call it standard diet. It's pretty sad, actually. That's why we call it the SAD, SAD, Standard American Diet. Well, it's the world diet.
Yep.
You will be amazed what if you it's not only the cooking shows, but you see what it's on, of course, on the internet, on Facebook. You see these video clips with the street vendors and what they make. It's all oil and cheese and eggs and milk, of course.
Garlic and salt and
Yeah, that too. So they got so away from their original diet, it's kind of sad. So you see a lot of health issues there now too.
you do. Absolutely. I mean, and when I watch the cooking shows, like I think they're, which I do not watch, but I remember them from when I used to, it's almost like it's just pure glutton. Like, let's add this, oh, and add that, and add this, and add that. And it's like, okay. Just everything just seems like way in excess.
Yeah, talking about weird, when I'm fasting, I watch cooking shows.
Oh,
That's pretty sick, but I think I'm over it now. I
yeah.
haven't watched one in probably over a year now.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, it's like you, but what you said, Susan, now you know all these things, and we see what can happen when we go back, or we now understand why we are at the point with our health, because of our lifestyle and what we have been eating. And so now and you do the best that you can. And what I feel is a very important part is not worry so much. I mean, you do what you can, but the constantly stress of, oh my God, I have cravings and I gave in, and now what? It's like, yeah, you may have cravings. If you know what kind of cravings, then we can pretty much tell you, what to do. Maybe you need a parasite cleanse. Maybe your adrenals are a little low, and instead of you wanting to use the regular salt, use the green salt. Go to trygreensalt.com, and the stuff is actually pretty decent. You cannot oversalt with it. It's not hurting your body, and and I'm sure you're not going to eat it by the spoonfuls. It's not that good. It's salt. But if you would say you would take you wet your finger and you put it in salt, regular salt, and then you put it in your mouth, it is unbelievable disgusting. I don't know. I mean, I'm a salt lover, but doing it that way, and I did it for testing to see, how even my taste buds respond to that. It's like, ugh. But you do that with the green salt, and it's like, okay, yeah, this has a salty taste, and it doesn't smell. It comes from seaweed. It's an ocean plant. It doesn't have the smell from what Dulce has, that really you smell the ocean. It's not with this, and you can make your own green salt. Actually, this is where what is it? The celery comes in, and you can buy the stuff, but I found it very expensive. And make it yourself if you have a dehydrator. You just cut it up in pieces, make it as fine as possible in the what is it, in the food processor. You can put it in a blender with a little water, and then get the water out and spray it out on a sheet in your dehydrator. And once it's really dry, put it in a dry blender, and then make it powdery. Then you have your green salt too. But I found that with the other green salt from trygreensalt.com, it's not that expensive. It seems like, one bag, it's like somewhere in the $20, and you would think, well, regular salt is a lot cheaper, but you use so little. And I may use it once every 2 weeks, because I don't use it on fruit. I may use it, well, not, and that is rare to use it in a salad. But I like a little if I just eat a plain tomato, because the tomatoes I have here are not that good. And all my tomato plants died last year, so.
I've yet to try the green salt, but I had they're like those nacho chips or Tostito chips, like I guess the brand Tostito. I don't know. It's been a while ago, but I couldn't, because I used to love them and I couldn't believe how salty they were. Like
Hmm.
couldn't even finish them, couldn't nothing.
Yeah.
And then I also could taste the oil on them too. But I've yet to try the green salt. But yeah, I used to love salt. I was totally addicted to salt too, and now I can't even stand it.
Yeah, well, then you don't have to try the green salt. I mean, your body doesn't crave it. You don't crave it.
Mm-mm.
But maybe, your family, when they are still using salt, you could use that instead.
Yeah. Yep.
But, if you don't have a need for salt, I wouldn't go that route.
My poor family. I don't cook for my family. They're left to fend for themselves.
Yeah, I have on my cooking plate, I have all kinds of stuff in box with dates, and it's like, yeah, it's not being used anymore.
Yeah. Yep. And my mother actually, she went through her cabinet about a month ago and she got rid of like almost, I think she maybe has maybe 4 seasonings left and she got rid of everything. She goes, I don't even use this anymore. And I remember too, at one time she got sad. She's like, I remember buying this stove and buying these pots and pans and being so excited. And now I don't even use them anymore. And then now she's just like, you know, doesn't even care that, that's was even there too. But so it is like a whole process too of all the things that were connected to cooking and things like that too.
Yeah, your kitchen can be so simplified. When
Hmm.
we finished what we call our retreat room, where we may rent out for, people who want to detox. And it's like, yeah, there's a kitchen, but it's a no-cook kitchen.
Hmm.
There's a blender, there's a food processor, there's a juicer, but that's it.
Yep.
There's no oven, and definitely the house had no microwave for, I think 10 years now.
Hmm.
And I never used it, and then I got to a point I don't even want to have it in the house.
Nope. No
So
need. Yep. I know. And when you're used to be the kitchen was so important, like when you're searching for a house now you're gonna be like, well, let's change this into something else.
yeah, it's I wouldn't take my oven out. It's I'm still I love farmers markets. And
Mhm.
at some point I would like to have a booth there.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of healthy things there. You can buy croissants that are gluten-free. Well, we still know that whatever they're using, it's still junk.
Hmm.
But and I was thinking, I can make this absolutely delicious bread that's made of quinoa, and it only has 3 ingredients: quinoa, chia seeds, and water. Okay, there's a fourth one. That is lemon juice, and a little salt. And I can add, dried fruit, or I can add nuts to it. And it's absolutely delicious. You don't need anything on it, you just have a big slice and you can eat it as it is. And I was thinking I would like to have a booth sometime, on a farmer's market and sell that kind of stuff. It's at least better than all the other foods that you see there. But then it makes me think, well, it's not really that ethical because I know it's still not healthy foods. So I'm kind of like, should I not?
If you're drawn to it, that's something you should do.
Yeah.
Because not only that, you're sharing something that's like a stepping stone for a lot of people to maybe even start a conversation with you.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then so look how many more people you would have more FaceTime with and things like that. So you could look at it in a whole nother light. I mean, if you're drawn to it, and go to it, and do it. I mean, you're supposed to be there for a reason.
True too. That is true too.
Yeah. And it
It's
may last a season, it may last a few seasons, or it
Yeah, and it's the
not big.
same. It's the same with smoothies. I make delicious smoothies that absolutely do not need what is it, proteins, like the pea protein or the hemp protein, to be delicious.
Mm-hmm.
They are good, and it's just dates, banana, some other fruits, and water. I used to use coconut water, and then I was like, why would I actually do that? Water works as well. And you
Yep.
don't, and it tastes, they were absolutely delicious. You can taste the fruit and not just the proteins. And I see all these smoothies everywhere, and they have a lot of proteins in it, very little fruit, and a lot of ice cubes and water.
Yep.
And I don't like them. I don't
Mhm.
like them at all. And sometimes they even put like peanut butter in it.
Yep.
And I was like, well, I could have a stand there with bottles, and I just make it, the evening before. They're still good the next morning, and do that. So those, yeah, I had those ideas. So maybe when my husband really retires, but
Yeah. Yeah.
that would be a way to get this stuff in front of people. And I have considered making like a flyer, but I'm not there yet. Not I don't really know what exactly to put in it. But maybe, we've been talking about writing a book, 90 days to a better health, and or whatever title we are going to give it, and make it a transition book, and with recipes in it, and motivational quotes, whatever we can, what can help people. And so that would be a good thing to have there too. So yeah, maybe in a few years.
Thing. We'll see where we're guided. Yes. Oh yeah. We are at the top of the hour. If anybody has any other questions, those were wonderful questions. Those help a lot of people, and it also helps us to look into it further too. So we are further educated on that topic too. So thank you.
Yes, we always like to learn more, and be aware, be conscious of what you're doing.
Mhm. Yes, and congratulations on your pregnancy.
Yes.
Susan says, I loved cooking and baking. It has been a process to not cook or bake any longer. I need to find another hobby. I loved baking as well.
Yeah, that is true. With a dehydrator, you can still be creative.
Mhm.
And you talked about your cherry tomatoes that were so delicious. I did not have delicious cherry tomatoes. They were bland. So what I did is I cut them in half, and I put a little, I made a small bowl with a little green salt, some coconut aminos. And
Mhm.
yeah, I know coconut aminos are not on the list of super healthy, and they are processed, and they're not from the coconut, but the coconut bark. I
Mhm.
know, but it tastes good. And it's, I like to think it's not that bad, and we only do it once in a while. But, and add the Italian herbs. So I brush that on the top of the tomatoes, and then put them in the dehydrator for 6 hours maybe. And then they are so tasty.
Yep.
So that's one thing. The other one is what are these big mushrooms called?
Um,
Portobellos.
yes.
And you can even buy them sliced, or you buy them whole and slice them thick slices, and you put them in a bowl, and you have that same combination. Put it in a bowl, make sure that the slices are covered with it, and you will see that it actually draws the juice out of the portobello. You don't even realize how much liquid is in a mushroom.
Mhm.
And I do the same thing with these things. They go into the dehydrator,
Mhm.
and you check after 6 hours if that is how you like to eat them, or you put them in. It's like a jerky, and you can put them in overnight. And this is how you can experiment. I made a bread with just what was it, zucchini and dates, and probably some maybe, 'cause I love curry spices, or turmeric, or the green salt, or the Italian herb blend. And I did not use, I don't think I used the spirals. I just put them in a food processor, make a thick layer in the dehydrator on a sheet, and you get a delicious bread. Is there in overnight, you turn it around, and you can eat it as is. You can make it a sweet way. You can but I do add I like to use the dates with it.
Yeah.
So when you look at that list with the mucusless foods, and you can see all the foods that you can eat, and you keep in mind what to combine and what not, then just get creative. Try things out, blend different things, add a different herb to it, and see how it works out for you.
Yep.
If that is what you need. And yeah.
And don't forget about mono eating. I mean, having mono meals and stuff like that too. But I do understand that it is a transition process for a lot of people, and you're kind of looking to slowly come into this lifestyle. Back when, oh gosh, it's been a long time, but I used to use crackers all the time. And so anytime I was feeling something, I would just eat a cracker. And in my mind, I wasn't in the detox process. I wasn't anything. I was only trying to bridge that gap. I used to get sour stomach all the time. And, so I would use crackers. In my mind, I was visualizing the crackers going in and kind of absorbing my sour stomach, whatever was causing that. And, but again, like I wasn't trying to heal anything at that time. I was only trying to get a bridge over to this lifestyle. So if someone is just, trying to do that same kind of process, I mean, it's a cracker or it's a sweet potato or something like that. Use it as your crutch until you can make the leap. And I mean, that's my opinion of it. But if you're targeting or something is wrong, or you're just feeling off about a lot of things, definitely reach out to one of the practitioners or reach out to Toni, fill out the health questionnaire. Like the story we talked about earlier today. I mean, it's very sad. It's very tragic. It would have been wonderful if she would have had somebody really guiding her way through the process, and then this may not have happened. But the other thing, when you talked about when her friend said that her legs were swollen and stuff like that, that's the other thing. I mean, it's summertime now. We see a lot of people's legs exposed, and I cannot tell you how many people, their ankles look very large. Their whole leg looks large. The cellulite, everything on their legs, the varicose veins, the spider veins. I have trouble walking around where I'm like, oh, lymph stagnation and dehydration. This is it. I mean, it's like, it's almost like I have to look up into the sky as I walk around. Yeah. Otherwise, I'm just constantly distracted by that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, thank you so much. I think I'm going to have to, go ahead and hop off of our show for now. It's after 1:00, and I've really enjoyed this talk. And even though it was kind of somber, I hope this is a good wake up for some people. If they do need that help, reach out, and let's all help each other, and let's be there to support each other, and let's just keep moving on this path and getting healthier and leading by example.
Absolutely. And thank you so much, Sara. I do want to mention one more thing that I had written. First time I ever wrote anything down, and I still forgot it. Is Dr. Morse's last video is his meeting with Ben Kowal. I think it's Kowal. He was a bodybuilder. And look at that video. Listen to them talk, where he was and where he is now, only on this protocol. And he even opened up the help, you could call it help center, detox centers, and how you can also live when you are balanced and you do the right thing the right way. And he is still a bodybuilder, and he looks amazing on fruit and greens.
Right.
So it would be yeah, and you can get there. It's like drmorse.tv, and it shows latest video, and that is when his shows up. And that is the other end of what is possible with, this lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, thank you, Sarah. As usually, much love to you and to everybody who was here. Give us a few likes. We like likes
Yeah.
on the thumbs up on the video, and so yeah, till the next time. I am trying to get a few guests on, so we'll see where that goes, if they can be here. And much love to everyone listening. Until the next time.
You all. Thank you, Toni. Much love. Bye-bye.